What's up, everyone? Welcome to another casual review. I did not expect to be doing another one of these so soon since I last played Mega Man Battle Network, but we will get more into that in just a little bit. Today, I just completed OwlBoy for the Nintendo Switch. So this game takes place on this world full of these floating islands, and it seems like there's mostly humans around, but there's a special race that can fly that's like half human, half owl, hence the name OwlBoy. And you control one of these owls, and you're a mute, you can't talk. Basically, your companions will do all the talking for you. You're up in the sky, and there's all these floating islands about. It's a really unique setting for this world. Think of it, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a game that's similar to it. I guess the closest I'm coming up to is the Link to the Past, but instead of a top-down view, it's more of a side-scroller view, but you can fly, and there's no limitations to how long you can fly. You can just fly forever. So the platforming aspect of it is pretty much gone because you can just fly into place. It's not like you slowly go down to the ground or anything like that. So you're flying around all these floating islands. There are also some fun things to kind of mix it up, like some fun puzzles or some fun mechanics, like you're getting shot out of a cannon and you have to lean left and right really fast. Like there's fun things to mix it up as well. And the story is actually pretty unique. I'm not going to give away anything here. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but the setting starts out in your home village and pirates start attacking, and the story evolves from there. These pirates are like these robots that are dressed in pirate garbs, and they fly around in these ships, and so the story progresses from there, and you're just trying to save your village basically to start out with. The story always alludes to this deep lore of this ancient race, these owls, and it just kind of hints at all this stuff, and it really has you playing along because you want to find out what happens, more and more what happened to the owls, why there are so few owls left. It's just such a rich, deep lore, which I guess is why I don't really get the next point I want to talk about, why this game is so short. I'm trying to think of a different game, in areas where you have this little intro tutorial area just for you to play around with, kind of get your bearings before it sets you out into the really big world. I guess the best example would be the Great Plateau in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where it's kind of like a secluded area just for you to learn the mechanics and get familiar with everything, get comfortable before it sets you out into the real world. Well, when I played through this game, I thought I was doing more of that intro tutorial world, and then it would set me out into the bigger picture. But no, the game ends at that end of the tutorial world, I guess. I felt like this game maybe took 4 or 5 hours tops to play through this game. It's crazy. And I guess I just don't get, you set up this awesome world full of this great lore and all these unique, interesting characters that all have these fleshed out backstories, but you don't do anything with it. The bones are there, and they're good, strong bones, but you don't build anything upon it. So I thought that was really weird. The game just ended, and I fully expected to be let out into the full world. I was a little thrown off about that. I kind of talked about the characters a little bit. As you play along through the game, you get access to these new characters that you can carry around. They can't fly, you can. Luckily, you can just teleport them into your arms to carry them around, so it's not like you have to go find them and pick them up. But each one of these characters I really related with. They, I don't know, each one of them spoke to me in a different way, and I really enjoyed the dialogue. There was actually some character development here going on with your companions. Now, your owl's a mute, so you don't get a lot of character development yourself, but I don't know, the side characters were just pretty fun. The aesthetic itself is pretty cool. It's like this stylized pixel graphic kind of scene. You get all this like deep background going on with these floating islands. It's a really cool aesthetic that I really dig. It was very stylized. All the characters when they're talking are pretty animated, and a lot of the enemies were actually pretty well animated as well. I'm thinking of a lot of the boss fights were actually pretty memorable. I'm trying to picture, there was maybe like I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 bosses, and each one of them left quite the impression on me just because of how well animated they are, how stylized they were. And so, I mean, I hate to keep going back to this, but like you put in all this work to get all these characters and this whole aesthetic set up, but like it's such a short game. Maybe they put in so much work into the story and the world that they didn't have time to flesh it out anymore, or maybe they're planning a sequel. So as for the actual controls and mechanics themselves, they can be a little difficult to grapple with at first. You are this OwlBoy. You have your run and your jump, and then when you press jump again, you start flying. And like I said before, you don't fall down to the ground or anything. You can just fly wherever, so there's no limitations there. You also have a roll, which I don't believe does any damage. I actually just spammed it to get around faster. It's a lot faster than moving without just tapping the roll button over and over again. Kind of like in I keep bringing up Zelda in like Ocarina of Time. You know, you just roll around. You don't walk, you roll. So you also have a Crash Bandicoot spin, and it doesn't do that much damage. Sometimes I don't think it does any damage, but you have this little spin that you can use to interact with the world as well. But that's not how most of the combat works. Most of the combat works by carrying around your companions, and they all have like a ranged weapon that you use, and you aim with the right joystick while you fly around with the owl in the left joystick, and then you can switch between the weapons by switching between your companions. And I know it sounds a little tedious, but once you get used to the controls, you do kind of get used to it, because you have this ability to make your companions teleport right back to you. But one of the complaints that I have is when you get hit, it just disrupts all flow of combat. It's not like you take too much damage when you get hit, but you drop your companion, and if you're close to a wall, it does this annoying thing where you like collide with the wall and then slide down the wall. And in theory, it sounds kind of cool, like kind of immersive, makes getting hit seem a lot more drastic, but it just puts a halt on everything. And then you have to be like, oh, okay, so I dropped my companion, I need to press this button to get my companion teleported back into my arms so then I can do my ranged attacks once more. And so it's just kind of jarring in that way. Like, you really don't want to get hit, not because you'll lose hit points, but because you just get messed up. Throughout this game doesn't have very many RPG mechanics, but throughout the world you can uncover these coins from like chests, things like that, and you use your coins to unlock like very few aesthetic options and then a couple health potions, which just increase your health. And you actually do unlock things that make your ranged attacks go farther. So there's not a whole lot of RPG mechanics there. I guess the most progress you make is just your own personal skill and the health and the ranged attacks. But it's not like there's no like skill trees or anything like that. Like I said before, it's a pretty short, contained game. And the coins and stuff seemed a little unnecessary. I feel like they could have just done tokens to make things a little simpler. The coins would like add up to some weird monetary value, like, oh, you need 300 coins, but really I unlocked maybe like 5 chests, you know? Like, I think they would have been better to just do like 5 tokens. So the collectibles and rewards did seem a little shallow. It really felt like this was the first of a series, and they really wanted to dive into this a little more. Like, maybe, I don't know how well this game sold, but maybe they would do an OwlBoy 2 where they kind of build upon the systems that they've already created. I would actually be pretty interested in that, because, you know, I really did actually get pretty invested in the story. It's it's like a very good take on the hero's journey. You know, you start in a small village and you broaden your horizons from the small village, and you meet all these interesting characters, and there's a bunch of character growth. It's a really good take on that, but they didn't go very far with it, and there was so much potential with all the lore and the history that they were teasing throughout the game. So I guess what I'm saying is I really want an OwlBoy 2 that is 4 times the length. If anything, this game understayed its welcome. So I guess that's not a bad thing if it left me wanting more. I was just so surprised because, like, I feel like I just started this game a couple days ago and I'm already done, which is pretty fast for me, I'll say. It's hard rating this game because, like, the story's there, the aesthetics there, the music's pretty good. It's like the bones are good, the bones are there, but it was just too short, and so the controls can be just a little jarring for me. I'm debating between a 3 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5. I think I'm going to drop down and give this a 3 out of 5. It's still pretty good, and if you can pick it up for cheap, I would definitely recommend it. But you could beat this in just a couple hours. You could beat this in one sitting if you really wanted to. So I appreciate you guys watching. I don't have another game planned out because usually I plan out a game when I can feel I'm nearing the end of this one. So it's a mystery to me what I'm going to play next as well. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you played this game, or if you haven't. If you have any questions about it, I'll be happy to answer. But otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!